What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Brinson. I'm your host. It's Thursday, October the 13th, and we are going to break down a thrilling Thursday night football game. I mean, this one came with like a return slip when Amazon got it. I'll tell you what, it's an Amazon joke. You get it?
Yeah.
Joining me to talk about the Commanders Bears game. Tyler Sullivan, aka Sully. What's up, pal?
What's up? Well, I don't know what we did over the last 2 weeks to be blessed with such unbelievable matchups. I mean, what did Al Michael say last week? They're so bad they're good. Are we gonna do that?
I feel like this one could be good. I feel like this one. So like last week's was supposed to be like Matt Ryan versus Russell Wilson, before the season. It's like that's supposed to be a great matchup. We're supposed to get like, tons of points scored, two quarterbacks in their new spots. They're showing off the new offenses. And instead we got literally no touchdowns. This one is like, we at least like the expectation is that it will be bad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So like it could get loose. It could get crazy. I know some people who think that this could be like, we could get 7 touchdowns in this game.
Really?
Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting theme when we sort of break down what we're looking at from a prop perspective, what we're looking at in this game, what we're doing for DFS, because the total is 38. I think Washington is now -1.
-1.
Okay. It looked like it wanted to go to 1.5. You get the money line like -115 probably. I'll double check on Caesars, but yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know. I think it could be a little fun. Like Carson Wentz and Justin Fields are high variance dudes under center for their respective teams. And it would not surprise me in the slightest, Sully, if things got a little loosey-goosey. Washington now -125 on the money line. The total sitting at 38, a very low number. Washington -1. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'll take the points with the Bears. I have such a hard time, and even if you look at his history, he's really good on Thursday Night Football, but I just have a hard time backing Carson Wentz in any realistic fashion. I'd much rather go with the team that I feel like is ascending a little bit in the Chicago Bears. Over the last couple of games, Fields has been able to throw it a little bit more, obviously coming off his best passing game of the year last week. He's had 20 or more pass attempts over the last 2 weeks. With the Washington Commanders, I just feel like this is a team that is teetering on just an absolute collapse. Obviously, they've lost 4 in a row coming into it, but we're coming off of a game where Ron Rivera is pointing fingers at his quarterback and then retracting it. And you have Wentz not playing particularly well. I think it's 20 sacks or something along those lines over the course of the season, and 6 interceptions. Both of those are the third most in the NFL. I just feel like this is close enough that I'd take the point here with Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to take Chicago plus, I mean, yeah, I guess you could take the point just if it.
I mean, if you want to take the money line too, I think they'd win this game. So
yeah, if you think Chicago is going to win, then just take the money line because it's +105. You don't have to lay the 110. It's obviously a dagger if Washington kicks a field goal and wins by 1, and you have the money line. I mean, that's. But
I've had worse beats.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This could. I'm on Washington here. I think that. And look, like, I don't think you can be 100% convinced either way with this game. But I think the Bears are 2-3. They've feel like they've got some positive, maybe momentum. Washington's 1-4, and this bombshell article about Dan Snyder came out from Seth Wickersham and Don Van Natta of ESPN on Thursday morning, obviously ahead of this game. Carson Wentz, who, we haven't stand for Carson Wentz on this podcast very often. In fact, quite the opposite. But he's got a sort of a busted, or is it busted rib kit? What is it? Is this a rib?
I thought it was a shoulder.
Shoulder? He's got something that's strained. Oh no, it's a bicep.
Okay.
Yeah, strained bicep that I think they're trying to sort of pin that interception against Tennessee in the end zone, that final one on that bicep. I think that Wentz, with the way that Ron Rivera spoke this week, I mean, he was asked like, what's the difference between Washington and all the other, teams in the NFC East who are winning football games? He said quarterback. And he did expound on it. And certainly changed. Like if you take the whole context of what he said, instead of just quarterback, it sounds a lot better. But like when you say, I mean,
I was going to say the point remains. He still said quarterback.
Yeah. And then they also had to release a statement on Thursday where I think they were contradicting what was said in the ESPN story, but they were like, Ron Rivera's like, no, I wanted Carson Wentz to be traded. The allegation I guess the claim in the story was that Dan Snyder was like adamant about making everyone trade for Carson Wentz, even though maybe Ron Rivera didn't love him. And then, Rivera came out and was like, no, I wanted to get Wentz. I went and met with Dan and Tanya Snyder at their house, and then we ended up getting him. So, I mean, like, Wentz is kind of a fragile mental dude, as I think we've detailed it ad nauseum on this podcast. But I do think this is a spot for a nice adversity bounce back for him, where he could have a really good game against a Bears defense that, frankly, isn't very good.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's certainly a realm of possibility here. I don't rule that out. Again, like you said earlier, it's hard to really feel 100% confident with any one of these teams. So as much as I may like the Bears here, you do see the ceiling for Washington being much higher because of the skill position players, at least the willingness for that offense to throw the football a little bit more. And there's the unknown of Brian Robinson, who's playing in this game. It's his second game back since coming off of just that unbelievable tragedy where he was shot multiple times. He was able to come back last week, and now the reports are earlier today that he is going to be the starter. He's going to be the guy in this backfield. So if all of a sudden he's the dude that we saw in the preseason, that's a heck of a weapon to put in their backfield. And Antonio Gibson played well over the first month, but they feel like they're getting an improvement here. So that theoretically should help the offense move a little bit more and set up a little bit more play action for Carson Wentz, which should reduce the sacks.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that they're going to try and do as much as possible to get the pressure off of Carson Wentz and to like get him out of the move. He's got Logan Thomas is inactive for this game. By the way, Sam Howell also inactive for this game, which is interesting only in the fact that Washington was going to, I think, have Howell active if they were concerned that Wentz couldn't finish the game. And so that's a good sign for Carson Wentz in terms of being healthy and able to go out and play the entirety of the game. He's got weapons. De'Ami Brown, who caught 2 touchdown passes, last week? I think 4 targets, 2 catches, like 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nice deep threat there. Could certainly get loose in that Bears secondary. Terry McLaurin has been really quiet season for him so far. I kind of think this is a potential blow up spot for Terry McLaurin if they can get sort of the game script that they need to have to be throwing it downfield. And I don't know, like the total's 38, man. Like that's so low. I'm taking the over because 38 is just not very much. I mean, that's like what 5 touchdowns. Is that 5 touchdowns? It's a lot of touchdowns, actually.
Yeah, we're not great at math. But the only thing that I'm concerned about with just the Commanders in general, I'll give you one thing on the Commanders. The number one thing I'm concerned about them is their third down percentage. It is god awful after that win in week 1 against the Jaguars. Since then, 33% conversion rate on third down. I think they went 1 for 11 last week on that down. It was they just have not been able to move the chains, to keep the drives alive. And it's resulted in a super low scoring output, 15.5 points per game over the last 4 weeks over this losing skid. So if they don't blow up and they stay here, that's where the under comes into play, because I don't think that either one of these teams, you can feel super confident that they can go deep into the 20s. I think you're saying, can they win this game like 21-17 or something along those lines, and that gets you hovering around this number here?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, this game could easily go under. I mean, I think the majority of people going into this game expect it to go under. And
it feels like the public play.
Yeah, and like for instance, we'll get to DFS, and you're going to hear a lot like the defenses are going to be heavily rostered. I would assume. I just kind of feel like this one just has like it's
the makeup from last week. The vibes.
Like, we know it's a crappy game coming in. Like we're looking at it, it's like, yeah, this game kind of stinks, but it might be. It's like if you know the game's supposed to be crappy going in, it's a little bit easier to sort of embrace the crappiness of it.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I'm going to go over in Washington. Your Bears and under, right?
Wow, look at us.
Yeah, about time we have something.
I know.
It's not the exact same. By the way, I gotta figure out how to get a little more action. Let's see if I can get it up a little bit. See that baseball bat that just came in today?
Ooh, very nice.
It's Ronald Acuna Jr. El
Wow.
Bestia, he wrote on there. It's actually really like it's like a real bat. It's really heavy.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh? That's but it's a sign that the Braves are going to win the World Series again. But that's neither here nor there for purpose. Get out of here, Billy. Billy fan.
I mean, I'm a Red Sox guy, so I don't even really have a dog anywhere in this fight anymore.
You're not even sweating it. All right, let's take a look at first TD scorer. Should be located on the TD scorer page, but you never know with the fine folks at Caesar. Sometimes they get a little creative with their locations. I'm kind of surprised. So the total was open at 40, by the way. Oh man, there's a super boost. Hey, there's a super boost on it's max $25 bet. It's the Trey Wingo super boost. Love Trey Wingo. Carson Wentz and Justin Fields each over 1.5 passing touchdowns, 6-1. I hate that. Feel like the over. It's not a bad little look. All right, let's get into first. Let's find first touchdown scorer. I can freaking get this thing to there we go. First touchdown scorer. As usual, Sully, there are plenty of questionable numbers out here. You have an unholy amount of people at 10 or 11-1 or less. I think Carson Wentz at 21-1 is a decent look.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, De'Ami Brown at 18-1.
Under normal circumstances, it'd probably be like 25-1, and you'd feel like that'd be a good one to target there. But 18-1, yeah. I mean, if they want to go for that again, but I almost wonder too, like if you're an opposing defense, I mean, you're getting Jalen Johnson back here too for Chicago, by the way. Like, if this dude just went off last week, you're gonna be like, hey guys, let's just make sure we don't lose to this dude again. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think I don't think. I mean, he doesn't get a ton of targets. Like,
no, that's the thing too. He has to rip one and be wide open deep.
Yes, I mean 18-1. It even it's only it's just like a decent look at a larger number.
Yeah,
you can find some. By the way, no touchdown scored in this game is like 45-1, which is it's a joke. I mean, I've seen that out there. It's kind of a joke. Like it was 101 last Thursday. I wouldn't anticipate that again. Like these two teams. We're not talking about like defensive beast here. I know people might think of them as that because they don't score much, but they're 18th and 19th in DVOA. It's really just that the offense is 29th and 30th in offense. Chicago 29, Washington 30. Maybe the offenses get going in this spot. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess Terry McLaurin 7.5-1. I wish they would price these more appropriately with the market.
Yeah, I think Cole Kmet's an interesting one.
Yep,
plus 950. He's been targeted, with this uptick in volume with the Bears over the last couple of games. Kmet's been a guy that I think a lot of people looked at over the summer, like, hey, this could be a fantasy kind of guy to keep your eye on. Hasn't been impressive for the first couple of weeks, but he did catch all 4 of his targets last week, 45 yards. Again, nothing crazy, but at the same time, those targets are increasing. His playing time is increasing. Just somebody that is a big body for Justin Fields.
I'm going to list some first touchdown scorer bets that I hypothetically would want to make with some hypothetical numbers that I would make them at because they're not available on here. So I'm just going to come up with some numbers, hypothetical numbers. You see, Sully?
Sure.
And if you have these hypothetical numbers out there, this is what I would look at. We're going to start with Terry McLaurin at 10-1, hypothetically. 7.5-1 up there.
Yep.
Look, if they're going to shrink this market, I mean, you don't have to play it because
Yeah, no, you don't have to.
But 7.5-1 for Terry McLaurin versus 13-1 for Equinemius St. Brown. I mean, that's a kind of a no. I'd much rather have the value of McLaurin there. Yep. Same thing with Kmet. Next up, Carson Wentz 29-1. I would be interested in that hypothetically. Velus Jones 34-1. Again, a hypothetical number. I don't know if Velus Jones is even on the Caesars list. I don't see him on there.
I don't see him.
They got him involved in his first career touchdown last week. But it was like a design play, that was really set him up. I think it's sort of like a jet sweep type of thing that I worth looking at. Spite, no touchdown scored at 48-1. Donkey bet. you really shouldn't bet that. It needs to be like 100-1 because the odds are just very unlikely. And then Cole Kmet at 16-1 and Khalil Herbert at 17-1. I think those are pretty fair prices for those guys. And the Washington defense, 30-1. I think all of those are fair prices for those particular guys. Ooh, Jordan Ajani with a crazy Velus Jones first touchdown plus Vols money line parlay. A friend of the pod and of course our coworker Jordan Ajani. That is aggressive. I don't know.
Like it.
I'm sure that you're aware that the Vols are hosting Nick Saban's Alabama team in Knoxville this weekend. That would on CBS, of course, the SEC on CBS. That would be that probably pays pretty well.
I was gonna say that probably pays.
Yeah.
Jordan might not be working with us anymore if he hits that one.
Yeah, he's Did you get any trouble for your $6 million comment, by the way?
No.
That didn't float back, right?
I told her it was all good.
Oh, you did? Oh.
I don't care.
What did she say?
She just goes, "You're an idiot," and then walks away.
Did she point out like if she won $6 million, she would also reevaluate?
No, she didn't.
Oh, interesting.
I know.
She's a much better person than me.
Yeah, she's just a better person than me.
That's right. You really aren't scared, Sully. All right, let's look at some player props. What did you do the write up on CBSSports.com? Of course. What did you have player prop wise that stood out to you? I got a couple if you want me to go first.
Yep. No, I got one ready. I had Brian Robinson over 11.5 rushing attempts. I think that's gone up. I'm trying to see if I can, right here, total rushing attempts. Yes, that's gone up 1. So it's now 12.5. I still like the over on this one. He had 9 rushing attempts last week, and this is even before the report that he's going to see an uptick. He's going to start tonight or is expected to start tonight.
He is, according to Mike Garafolo and Ian Rappaport, he is going to be the starter for Washington. Ron Rivera just doesn't really like Antonio Gibson, and it sounds like we'll see a lot of Brian Robinson here. And
so we're coming off a game, obviously. He made his debut, all that stuff. And he only played 29% of the offensive snaps last week, and he had 9 carries. If we're talking about somebody that's going to now be a featured piece to this backfield, he's seeing well over this number. And Antonio Gibson, as much as we just said, Ron Rivera didn't really like using him from weeks 1 to 4 when Robinson was out, 13.3 attempts per game. So, even if we just get the Antonio Gibson workload for Brian Robinson, he's clearing this.
Yeah, and you see the juice there too, minus 137. Clearly, they prefer to, clearly they prefer to like crank the juice up as opposed to, by the way, as opposed to moving the number up again and getting middled. Because look, there's a very good chance it lands at like right at 13 or right at 12, and something like that. So we'll see what hypothetical number there might be out there for Let's see. I do see a 13.5. I think I'd rather take the juice at. We're suckers, right? Sometimes,
sure,
they're willing to admit it. Like, I can't handle like if I had a 12.5 minus 137 versus a 13.5 like minus 115. Like the idea of it landing on 13 is just like I can't
drive me bananas.
Yeah, exactly. What else you got?
Cole Kmet over 29.5 receiving yards. I just think that this offense is starting to pass a little bit more. I'm not saying they're turning into the Buffalo Bills or Kansas City Chiefs or anything like that, but we are seeing Justin Fields at least throwing 20 times a game over the last couple of weeks. And we've seen the uptick in production for Cole Kmet when with Fields kind of improving or at least getting more volume as a passer. He's gone over this number 2 times over the last 3 weeks. He's a guy that I think that they look outside, obviously, of Darnell Mooney. He's probably the number 2 receiving option for them in this offense. And so I just feel like that's a low enough number for a number 2 receiver, pass catcher in this offense that I'll take it.
Scroll down a little bit, Billy, and just go to the receiving yards. It should be one more down and then click the Bears. I just want to see what oh God. I was reading David Montgomery's Darnell Mooney. I was like, Darnell Mooney 16.5 receiving yards. That's a smash. I wouldn't mind playing. They see 29.5. Is that what you said you had?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind playing Mooney's over at 46
sure.
and a half. I see there's a 45 and a half out there as well. We could just see Justin Fields kind of, I don't think it's great. Like that's one deep shot,
Right. And he caught that one last week too. That was, an amazing catch.
I know some sharp people who are laddering. Do you know what a laddering is?
I don't think so.
It's when they're laddering Justin Fields passing yards. In other words, you take the over on whatever the number is, and then you can move the number up. Actually, go. Let's see if Caesars has it. I'm trying to see. Sometimes they'll give you a sliding scale, but I bet they're not going to do it here. So Fields is over passing yards is 169.5. You take that over, and then you can go. See if you can do it on here. You might not be able to do it on Caesars, but you can do it in various other places, hypothetically, of course. You can again, petrified I'm going to get yelled at for this, but whatever. So like passing yards at least is sometimes an option, and you can take that and move it up. So like hypothetically, again, I can move Justin Fields passing yards up to 250 or more.
Mm-hmm.
If he throws for 250, you're going to get a plus number. And it's like, if he has a big game in a surprising spot and he goes over 250 yards, you hit every single one of those numbers that you put out there. And that's called the ladder, basically.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Yeah. And so, if you think so, like, it's a good way where people do it with strikeouts in betting on strikeouts all the time, where
Sure.
If you think somebody's going to have like 10 strikeouts, you ladder them. It's just a good way to really multiply exponentially your possible return. I got Fields over yards with some ladder action. I took Brian Robinson over rushing yards 50.5. That's probably gone up, but I mean, look, the guy's getting, just don't average 2 yards a carry. The Bears aren't very good against the run.
I have 49.5 here.
There you go. 49.5. Quite lovely. I think that's a great bet. Yeah, I bet Darnell Mooney to have 118 or more receiving yards pays out 6-1.
Nice. Look at you.
Yeah, there you go. And that's all I've got, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kmet and Robinson are my big ones. I think that Wentz throws an interception in this game. I just, if you want to throw that, I don't think that I don't think the number is
like
that
over. It's like
it's minus 125. I would do that.
Yeah. I mean, Carson Wentz loves to throw. Carson Wentz loves throwing interceptions. Like
6 interceptions this season, third most in the NFL.
And he's going to be pressing a little bit, like to a degree at least.
Sure. I mean, if Chicago's getting a lead here and they're somehow applying pressure, obviously, the offensive line for the Washington Commanders isn't particularly great, and Wentz holds the ball a little bit too long, in my opinion.
Oh, I mean,
that's money in the bank.
I wish you could do see if you can do Wentz. Fields is over touchdowns is half minus 274. Like, what do we mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's
the interception. I wish you could parlay. Do they have fumbles available? No. Nah. Say can you if you can figure out a way to like parlay?
I wish it was like turnover.
Yeah, like he's gonna have a turnover.
Yeah,
I mean he's just going to. All right, let's talk DFS.
Sure.
Okay, I got some lineups in. What looking at the setup here? What's going on? All right, so captain prices. I gotta clear this thing out. Billy's got it. Great. You're gonna have to go back, Billy, by the way, and switch it. Oh, that's last Thursday. I was like, what is happening?
What is happening here?
Just refresh it should pop up. Ooh, did Debo have some cash in there? Look at that 914. Look at the big money.
Wow.
Look at this guy.
Must be nice.
Yeah, right. So Justin Fields is sorry, I messed up. Let me clear this guy's out real quick. We're doing a bang up job here. Carson Wentz is the highest priced captain on the board, 15.9. David Montgomery, 15.6. Justin Fields, 15 even. Terry McLaurin, 13.5. Antonio Gibson, 12.9. LOL. Curtis Samuel, 12.3. Darnell Mooney, 11.4. Brian Robinson, 9.9. And then you get JD McKissick and Khalil Herbert, who you could captain them and save some cash, but it's also going to be like we don't know what their sort of role is going to be. If Washington gets down big, maybe McKissick gets some run, or if if something happens to Montgomery, he gets hurt. Herbert could have a monster game, so that's kind of a flyer there. Where are you looking to start your captain position?
Just to kind of go a little bit more unique, I do think that obviously the quarterbacks and I think the defenses will be captained a lot. I feel like I'm hyping him up too much. I think Cole Kmet's an interesting captain. I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of high ownership. You can pretty much have the guys in there that you want. He's only 7,800 as a captain. You can go with a lineup of what I like. And again, this is more, I guess, if you like the Bears to win, it would be Kmet, Chicago defense, Justin Fields, Montgomery, Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin.
So I think I'm going to go 0%. Well, not 0%. I think I have one lineup with the Bears in it. I mean, look, these teams could. There are going to be a lot of lineups with defenses. When DraftKings flips it over, like when the contest starts and DraftKings flips everything live, it immediately goes to, like you get the 15 points,
whatever it is.
Your defense is a captain, you get the 10 points, so you shoot up to the top of the board, and
looks like you're making money for a second.
Yeah, it's like the people who in golf sometimes people will pick the first 6 guys off the tee so they can like take a screenshot of like winning. It's like okay, like cool. But I think we'll see a lot of defenses rostered in this game because it is a 38-point total. Again, Carson Wentz a turnover machine. Justin Fields not afraid to turn it over either. But so to me, there's an advantage here where you could, if you eschew the defenses, you could potentially get a leg up if there are a bunch of points in this game. So I'm sort of all my lineups I think are going to be basically tailored to a high scoring game. So you got Cole Kmet as a captain. Fields, I like that one. I'll give mine really quickly, my favorite lineup, and then we'll get out of here.
Sure.
Because you've got to go to HQ. Are you calling?
No.
Yeah, nice. Good for them. I'm going Terry McLaurin as the captain.
Cool.
13.5. Then I'm fitting in David Montgomery, Brian Robinson, Carson Wentz, Cairo Santos, and Joey Slye. I got $300 left over. So basically,
like that.
Looking for a big McLaurin game. I pairing him with Wentz a little, and this is sort of a case of, I guess the Robinson thing is interesting. He's gonna be very chalky. It's
I think the narrative, like there's a big narrative for him. Like, all right, let's ride that wave.
Well, and he's 6'6", which is just cheap for like a starting running back. Like Antonio Gibson's much more expensive. I think there's a good chance we see these teams settle for field goals, maybe a bunch of kicks. And then I sort of got the stack-ish in there where if the Bears are winning, they're going to lean on Montgomery, and then McLaurin and Wentz coming back the other way. So that's sort of the theory there. I guess I love it. I don't know. We'll see.
I like it.
Yeah.
No, that works.
If it wins me a bunch of money, I love it. If not,
you hate it.
Yeah, I hate it. All right. Anything else on this game?
I'm good.
Really squeezing every drop out on this game, huh? By the way, the other edition I got here. See that? It's a signed F report card from the NFL draft in 2013, signed by Pete Prisco.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, that's just. I mean, you can retire right there, right?
Yeah, just a classic. I could sell that for $6 million. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. For Sully, I'm Brinson. We will see you guys after the game. Turn on alerts. Later.